In this video, I'm going to show you how to finish off the bottom of pots that you have made on the wheel and they've got to a leather hard stage. So your pot probably looks something a bit like this, stuck onto the board. You want your piece to have reached the stage of dryness where it snaps off of the board rather than having to be peeled. Now you've got the pot off of the board, we're going to take it back to the wheel, turn it around, and we are going to use some turning tools to cut away this excess clay here and here. And cut in a foot ring into the base of the pot. So I've got my tools ready for turning, some loop turning tools with different shapes and angles on the bottom, and a Surform tool there. I've got my pot and I'm going to put that upside down on the rim on the wheel head there. I'm going to secure it down with some balls, soft balls of the same type of clay. I usually use about 3. Press them down onto the wheel head and then onto the pot. But make sure that you don't distort the rim of the pot because the clay of your pot will still be soft. I'm using the Surform tool now, like a cheese grater, just to take off any sharp and rough edges from the bottom outside edge. Just tidying that up and getting it all smooth before I move on to start using the turning tools. Now I'm using the Surform on the base, on the bottom of the pot, to get that all evened out and flat, because as you can see I've got a mark from the wire from where I removed it from the wheel when I was throwing the pot. So again, my turning tools now, you can see I've got a curved end on this side and an angular end on the other side. I'm going to start off using the pointed bit of the angular tool to start off drawing a circle. Once I'm confident all of that circle is joining up, I'm going to add a little more pressure, and that is setting the depth for my foot ring. Now I've got the heel of the tool and I'm pressing it into that groove that I've made and tilting it into the middle to use more of the tool like a miniature kidney to now carve out that bottom section of the foot to get it to the same depth as that circle that I cut in the beginning. Now moving on to the curved side of the tool and using that and just tilting it into the center and then back out to the outside edge, just gradually removing that clay from the foot ring, always keeping in that working area. So all the tools and things that you use, you want to keep within the working area, which is about 2:30 for right-handed people, the wheel going anti-clockwise, and about 10:30 for left-handed people with the wheel going clockwise. This means that all of the tools that you're using will be going in the same direction as the wheel is turning. If you use them on the wrong side, there's a chance that they will get stuck or snagged into the clay wall. I've speeded up this part of the video, so this will take you a little bit longer, but I just wanted to race through what I'm trying to explain to you. You can use this part of your finger to tap on the base. Now, you might not know what you're listening for in the first instance, but the more that you do this, the more that you'll get used to the sound, and that will indicate to you how much clay that you've got left in the base of your pot. Now I'm going to use this pointed part of the tool in the side of the pot at the bottom, and that's going to help me to give my foot that I'm going to carve some height. Now I'm going to use the heel of the tool into that groove that I've cut, and then gradually tilting the tool up to give that foot some definition, give the pot a little bit of height. So you can cut your foot in lots of different ways. You can cut it so it's angular or rounded. So think about the sort of personality that you want your pot to have. Just gradually taking away, shaving away bits of clay. Be careful not to go too far with the foot ring because you don't want to cut a hole in the bottom of your pot. I'll just move the camera around to the side so you can see now what I've been doing on that outside edge, and then just blending that into the rest of the pot using both sides of that tool. So it's up to you which tool that you prefer to use. But this one with the angular and rounded end is my favourite because I feel that it gives quite a lot of options for you to choose from. So I worked on the piece a little bit more on the wheel, and as you can see now it's finished with that foot just carved into the base there, and the edges just rounded off and smoothed over with a dryish damp sponge. So I used one of these turning tools in the video with the looped end, but you can also use these if you prefer. You've got just that kind of sharp blade there. So a range of different options for you to finish off your pot. So some examples to show you to finish off the video. This is one of the pots from the start of the video. You can see that the bottom of it has been finished off and neatened off. I haven't cut a foot ring into the bottom of it, just tidied up that bottom outside edge. This is another one from the photo at the beginning, and I've just cut a foot ring into that but not given it any height at all. The next one is a bisque fired piece, so that's after the first firing, and you can see I've cut like a chubby sort of foot ring into this one, and that sort of reflects the form of the piece as well. And you can see it on the bottom there. It's got that foot ring to hold some glaze inside. Here's some finished pieces. So a bowl with sort of an angular foot ring, a cup using that sort of chubby foot ring again. Think about what you want to put inside the foot ring. Maybe you put your potter's stamp, or I like to cut my name and the year, as you can see here. Or maybe you put a design inside the foot. Having said all that, you don't have to use the wheel to cut a foot into your finished piece that has been thrown on the wheel. This piece I just finished off around the base using the Surform tool, and then I've left the texture on there to hold some of the glaze and play around with that too. So hopefully that's given you some ideas of how you can finish off the bottom of your pots that you have thrown on the wheel.